No, you think I've got it in for these guys somehow. Like I'm excited that they're gone now. Like nothing could be further from the truth.
I think that you have a very cold, detached look at it, right? Like
I've got a cold, detached look at everything. Like
so do I mostly. But like where aren't you from here? Like
see, I think you're upset because I'm coming across as the colder guy in all of this, and that's the role that you want. And I'm like, I'm on your turf in all of this. So you're trying to crowd me out. I was quite frankly, I was shocked. I hadn't noticed this. Somebody pointed it out. Like Henrik's 112-point season hasn't been bested. We're in the McDavid era. Ovechkin at the top of his game. Sidney Crosby is healthy again. Like, this was an amazing year in the National Hockey League. Like, guys were scoring again. Like, there was offense in this league. Nobody has topped the 112 points that Henrik put up, and that was 8 years ago.
No, I think it was Canuck Clay, actually, that I saw tweet that out. Yeah, and that's one of the things that sticks with me. One of the things that also, like, when you go back, and, you know, I went back and I looked like, okay, who was making the arguments against Henrik, not like against him winning the Hart that year? Who was making the arguments against Daniel Sedin not winning the Hart the year after that? And it's interesting. Like, I don't think, like, if you go back and you read comments from media across the country, they did not get their due. They did not get their run as like, holy shit, like, look at this line. They are the best in hockey. The two best offensive players in the game right now are playing on the same line. Like you don't going back and mining all of everything that was written back then. You don't sense that from anywhere else but in Vancouver. And even in Vancouver, it was, yeah, but like look what Ryan Kessler's doing. Yeah, but like look how great their power play is and they're getting a lot of points there. Yeah, but AV's like playing them a lot, you know, with his offensive zone starts. So were they fully appreciated at their best? Certainly not Canada-wide. Certainly not nationally.
Well, I'd take it a step further, and this is not a new argument, but like I think they should have had a higher profile in North America. When you stop and think, like, okay, brother acts happen occasionally in sport, but these guys are freaking identical twins that were at the top of their craft. And not just for a moment, but for a while. Like, we're never going to see that again, ever.
No, and that I think that bled into, and that part of it was kind of one of the main motivating factors in what happened. Like, look, the last week was I was shocked, like how overwhelming it was, like, and seeing those guys, how overwhelmed they were shocked. I think that they were overwhelmed in a way that they didn't expect it to be. I mean, they both wanted to make the announcement after the season. They didn't want any of this kind of interaction with them and the fans, but ultimately it was really enriching for them. I think it was really enriching for the fans, and it was almost cathartic because there is Sedin guilt in Vancouver. Like, there is like a lot of guilt about the way that they were treated early on, the way that people doubted them early on. And I went back and I read tons of columns from 2000 right up to 2004 from Ed, from Speck, from Tony, from all the big columnists across the country. And it was really super consistent. No, like everyone thought topping out, they would be secondary scorers in the NHL. That was the best they could be. And they blew those expectations out of the water, and they did it later in their careers, which is pretty odd. So I think that there is an element of like guilt being washed away in that final week when it was ovation after ovation, nothing but love after nothing but love.
And I want to take a sec just to give the Edmonton Oilers and their fans some credit, because under difficult circumstances, against the backdrop of the Humboldt tragedy on the Friday afternoon, the Twins played their final game in Edmonton on Saturday, and I thought the Oilers hit all the right notes in their pregame ceremony and the way that they acknowledged the Twins with a quick video, and the fans there responded, and every time they were up on the Jumbotron, the fans, and there were a lot of Canuck fans in the building as well that night. But that postgame ceremony too, everything about it, and the kids on the bench, that had to get to you. But, and I see, like, you can't let it go. the hatred that you have for Chris Russell and his stick robbing Henrik Sedin of, like, Daniel had his moment on Thursday, and Henrik he was that close, and Chris Russell reached out and robbed Henrik of the mic drop moment.